Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the Ultimate Pokemon Conference Season 6 Majors semifinals, and we're taking on, we're taking on Jacob, coach of the Green Bay Pikachus, who we have had a divisional, we have been divisional rivals this season. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play both of our matches. We only got to play one because the season was cut short because of disorganization, poor management, and stuff like that. But nonetheless, we have finished our season 6-2 with a +9 differential. Our opponent finished 5-3 with a +14 differential, or 5-2 with a +14 differential, and one did not play or something like that. And we're going to have the advantage here. So we haven't uploaded in a while. Our team is Z-Captain Infernape, Z-Captain Hydreigon, Clefable, Bronzong, Superior, Zapdos, Donphan, Snorlax, Pukamaku, Mega Baynet, and Vivillon, where our opponent has Z-Captain Mew, Z-Captain Dragonite, Mega Diancie, Dugtrio, Amoonguss, Magnezone, Cloyster, Alola Marowak, Komala, Scrafty, and the Masquerain. So lots of different things that we can bring versus each other. I think it's a pretty even matchup. We did play once where, like I mentioned earlier in the season, I think we played week 2, and he defeated us 5-0, but it was, Alola Marowak went ham after it got a Rock Polish pass to it from Mew, but prior to that, there was, Zapdos that was about to 1v1 his entire team, that had a Spadef drop and ended up not being able to do what it needed to do. There was Bronzong missing a Toxic on Mew, which had a war with Zapdos later, and the Mew was outlasting Zapdos because the Toxic didn't land. And if you look at his team, the team he brought last time was Mew, Mega Diancie, Amoonguss, Magnezone, Alola Marowak, and Scrafty. And Mega Diancie and Scrafty were already beaten, so he had Alola Marowak, Magnezone, Amoonguss, and Mew, all of which, aren't taking a hit from Zapdos. Alola Marowak sort of can, but, it has to deal with the rest of my team. Hydreigon. Without Mew being there, Hydreigon infinitely, walls Marowak, and stuff like that. So, lots of different things that could have happened in the match. I do believe that game should have been mine, and I believe that the fact that it wasn't cost me in the prep of this match, the mind games of this match. So I'm actually going to choose to not even bring either Z-Captain, Infernape, or Hydreigon, my first 2 picks. Who doesn't bring their first 2 picks of a draft to a semifinals match? I'm not. I'm trying to catch my opponent off guard here with some unorthodox brings, and I feel like I built a team that is going to be able to stop my opponent. So I've got this more defensive Clefable that now I can take a hit from Alola Marowak better. I can definitely take hits from setup Mew, setup Dragonite, Dugtrio, Amoonguss even. It does about half with, Sludge Bomb or something like that. Scrafty's doing nothing. No setup mons are going to be that scary. And Wish Protect allows me to pass wishes off to things like Bronzong and Donphan and potentially Snorlax. Moonblast just to spam it, and then Heal Bell is a nice tech for something that you'll see later on in the prep here. I do have 24 EVs in special attack, which allows me to knock out Dragonite after Stealth Rocks unless it's very bulky, and allows me to OHKO a Scrafty unless it's HP invested or something. And the speed investment only allows me to avoid speed creeps from other Pokemon, and that's basically it. So next up we got Bronzong, which is our Stealth Rocker, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, and Zen Headbutt. So we got Gyro Ball for Mega Diancie, Zen Headbutt for Amoonguss, and basically everything else. Gyro Ball hits Mew a little bit harder than Earthquake or Zen Headbutt does. Earthquake is there only for Alola Marowak and only for Magnezone. Can catch those on the switch, bop them a little bit. Obviously won't knock out Alola Marowak in one shot, but it will knock out Magnezone in one shot, unless it's Sugar Berry, and even then it'll be a 2-hit KO. So the reason I'm running Shed Shell is because in my week 7 or week 8 match, Bronzong was exploited against a Magneton that could have potentially set up and swept us if it wanted to. Luckily, it didn't, but it did remove my Bronzong from the match, and I don't want that to happen again because this is a really, really good switch into Mega Diancie. It checks Dragonite, it checks, I guess it kind of checks Kamala to an extent, and Dugtrio to an extent, so that's pretty nice. It also prevents me from being trapped by Dugtrio. I almost ran Heat Proof because of Alola Marowak and Mega Diancie carrying Hidden Power Fire or Mew carrying Flamethrower, but ultimately decided on Levitate because of Dugtrio. If I do get knocked off, I would like to be able to switch or avoid an Earthquake, so Levitate's nice for that. Next up we have Superior. This is our late game cleanup mon. The idea is for Snorlax and Vivillon to break my opponent's team and then let Serp come in late game and finish the game off with Leaf Storm, and boost my stats to insane heights and whatnot. Sorry about that. And Dragon Pulse hits the Dragonite, and Hidden Power Fire hits Magnezone and Amoonguss, and then Taunt prevents things like Taunt prevents Masquerain from doing anything weird, prevents setup from Scrafty if I'm in a bad situation, can potentially stop Cloyster or Amoonguss or Mew or Dugtrio from throwing off any kind of status or Stealth Rocks on the mons that obviously get Stealth Rock. You guys can decipher those, I hope. I got max special attack and an expert belt because the mons that I'm going to be wanting to hit extremely hard and revenge kill are going to be the only moves that I need boosted. So I don't need Leaf Storm to be boosted by Life Orb to break down Mew. An expert belt plus contrary boost will do the job. However, if I didn't have the expert belt, I might miss out on a knockout with Dragon Pulse on Dragonite, or Leaf Storm on a bulky Mega Diancie, or a Hidden Power Fire on Amoonguss or something like that. And I don't want to miss out on those knockouts, so expert belt will boost those. Contrary actually helps me against webs too. I don't bring Defog on this mon because I actually want it to not waste a move slot, but also I want to be able to take advantage of the speed drop the speed boost that I'll be getting from webs, and could potentially spin them away later with my Donphan, which is an Assault Vest variant with Earthquake knockoff and Ice Shard with Rapid Spin. Mostly a Spadef set as a backup check to Mega Diancie, can take Giga Drain from Amoonguss. It's a really solid check to Magnezone and can take a hit from Alola Marowak as well as knock it out as well. So that's really cool. Assault Vest is there. I didn't need Stealth Rock on this thing, and Assault Vest, just having Spadef on here wasn't enough, so actually a Careful Nature, 68 EVs, and an Assault Vest is what does the job here. So I'm pretty happy with that, and was really glad that the calcs worked out in a position where I could speed creep certain things like Scrafty, Komala, Cloyster, Magnezone, and other things, while still having enough bulk to take on the things that I need to take on. I can live hits from Dragonite. I do have an Ice Shard, so I can pick off a weakened Dugtrio, maybe Revenge Kill a Dragonite or something. Knockoffs there because it hits Mew pretty hard, and it just gets rid of items on other mons as well. Excuse me. Earthquake is my most damage output and can OHKO Mega Diancie, Dugtrio, Magnezone, Alola Marowak, etc. So that's the idea there. And mostly for a spinner, I needed a spinner because it's really important to have a spinner in this match, as rocks could be the difference between winning and losing. And the fact that I have a mon that's 4 times weak to rocks in Vivillon, in which I wouldn't want rocks up because I am a Focus Sash variant, which you'll see in a little bit. But for now, we'll skip on to Snorlax, talk about it for a minute. We have a Choice Banded Snorlax here with Return, Earthquake, Pursuit, and Rest. Enough. Max attack, Adamant max attack with a Choice Band item makes this thing extremely powerful. Attack stat tops out at, I think, 350. With a Choice Band makes it that much stronger. and has quite a bit of HP investment, as you can see on screen, and avoiding speed creeps from things like Amoonguss, potentially Scrafty, and what else was it? Alola Marowak, Amoonguss, Magnezone. No, I don't think Magnezone. Magnezone's a little bit quicker. Amoonguss, Alola Marowak maybe, and Scrafty. Maybe that was what it was. Anyways, Earthquake, he has 2 or 3 resist to return, and Mega Diancie being Rock type, Magnezone being Steel type, and an immunity in Alola Marowak. And Earthquake hits all 3 of those. So this is like the perfect coverage right here with Return and Earthquake already. And I have Pursuit on here. It's a nice little tech to maybe if Mew knows it can't knock me out, but it's the only mon that can survive a hit from Donphan, knock it out, and then knock Clefable out as well or something like that. Then he would be inclined to actually save Mew. But I could catch it with the Pursuit as he's switching out and potentially knock him out. And Rest is there because I could eventually be taking a lot of chip damage. I could take a hit from Alola Marowak or Magnezone or Dugtrio or something and eventually get low, or just Stealth Rocks over time, chipping me down. I could eventually get low and might want to keep Snorlax for the long game and just, rest up and then keep coming in and clicking return later in the match. I could have been Rest Talk, Choice Band Rest Talk instead of Pursuit, which actually would have been really nice in this match. But, yeah, this rest tech goes back to my Heal Bell tech. So once I rest up with Snorlax, I could switch out into, Bronzong or Snorlax or even Clefable immediately, and then Heal Bell and wake Snorlax back up. This also helps me because my opponent has a Amoonguss, which can, throw off spores. And I tried to defeat his Mew by Toxic Stall last time, so he might be inclined to run a Toxic Mew of his own, and I could also Heal Bell that off, so that's nice there. Just wanted to talk about the Heal Bell tech and my Rest Snorlax tech, so that's the idea there. And last but not least, we have Vivillon making his debut in the semifinals, making his debut this season in the semifinals with the Focus Sash, the Compound Eyes to make sure Hurricane hits. It's I think 91% accurate with the Compound Eyes. Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz is 130% accurate, same for Hidden Power Steel, which is dope. Hurricane and Bug Buzz just runs through my opponent's team outside of Magnezone and outside of Mega Diancie. But my team deals with both of those mons pretty well, so I decided to just throw on the Hidden Power Steel tech to maybe potentially catch a Mega Diancie lead if I would, like, depending on his team structure, if he leads Mega Diancie and I lead Vivillon, I could just click Hidden Power Steel immediately and knock him out. Or I could switch out and wait for the late game setup and then knock him out with it. But yeah, it just depends on his team structure. And then if his team is built more to where I need Vivillon in the late game, then I wouldn't even risk it. Taking a Power Gem in return, he would bring me to my Sash, obviously, and then Hidden Power Steel would most likely knock him out, but in the case that it didn't, then I would just lose Vivillon, and even if I did knock him out, I would still have basically lost Vivillon, lost my Sash, and would have a harder time with some other mons, like Amoonguss. This is one of my hardest ways to hit Amoonguss, along with Bronzong being able to click Zen Headbutt in the late game, and then things like Hidden Power Fire. Like, I don't have the perfect way to hit Amoonguss, so keeping Vivillon around, depending on his team structure, is important. But it is my designated lead regardless. And Choice Banded Snorlax can actually, like I mentioned, 2-hit KO Amoonguss, so it's not that huge of a deal. And I feel this team is pretty confident and very adequately prepared to at least catch my opponent off guard and give me the win. I might not win 6-0, I might not win 4-0 or whatever, but I think this team definitely has the ability to win the match for me. So let's go ahead and on to the replay and see what actually happened in the battle. Alright, so here we are with the replay. My opponent actually doesn't bring the Alola Marowak. He doesn't bring the Dragonite. He doesn't bring the Dugtrio. No Scrafty this time either. My opponent chooses to bring the Masquerain, Mega Diancie, Mew, Amoonguss, Komala, and the Magnezone. So a little bit problematic that he has the Magnezone and the Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie was a likely bring. Magnezone was iffy. Mew was likely. Amoonguss likely. Masquerain was iffy. Kamala was, it was hit or miss. I really thought maybe Dragonout would come this match, but it makes sense. I do have the Fable, I do have Bronzong. So yeah, my team is pretty prepared for everything outside of, well, I'm not like ill prepared for Masquerain. I'm just not as prepared as I could be. I do have ways to get rid of, webs. I do have ways to check a bug type, etc. But I have nothing specifically for it. Mega Diancie, I'm going to check with Bronzong, Mew with, well, it depends. If Mew is a offensive variant, I'm just going to hard switch into something and start breaking him, such as Snorlax or Surt, whatever it may be. He has two Stealth Rock options and one Spinner, as well as one Defogger. But more than likely, Kamala has Defog, and Mew is probably more offensive looking at his team. It looks like Masquerain is a designated lead with something like webs, and then having his two offensive mons be the pink mons, and then Amoonguss, Kamala, and Magnezone are potentially like a defensive core. However, Magnezone could be offensive with like Choice Scarf or Choice Specs, maybe even like a Magnet Reset or something. However, I do feel if I can weaken Magnezone, I can actually win with Vivillon. So that's actually the game plan here. The game plan changes from like late game Surt to late game Vivillon. However, I'm still going to lead with Vivillon. Since Amoonguss could be a lead for him, I do have three potential Stealth Rockers, two of which Amoonguss matches up well against. So Mew could be a lead for him. He could also lead with Mega Diancie to prevent turn one Stealth Rocks. But if I lead Bronzong, then that actually puts him at a disadvantage. So maybe Bronzong was actually a better lead here for me. But I'm just going to lead off with Vivillon here. He does lead off with the Mega Diancie, and I'm going to hard switch out to Bronzong immediately as he goes for the Protect. Here, I'm just going to click the Earthquake, predicting the Magnezone to come in. Anything except clicking Rocks there. I didn't want to click Rocks because I knew he would click Protect again, and I didn't want Rocks to be up on my side of the field because of myself. So here, I'm just going to click, I think, Earthquake again. Maybe I click Gyro Ball though. I'm pretty sure I just click Gyro Ball here, predicting him to actually stay in. No, I just get Stealth Rocks up. That's the most perfect play. He's going to switch out now since I've revealed Earthquake. He knows I'm going to click Gyro Ball on this turn, so he switches out as I actually just get up my Stealth Rocks. My opponent brings in Amoonguss and clicks Spore, and he's actually faster than me. So I would have liked to have maybe accounted for this a little bit more, and I could have instead of running a negative speed nature with Gyro Ball, I could have ran a regular speed nature or just a no nature, more like Sirius or something, and then could have potentially put sub on this thing and made it to where Bronzong was a huge thing. Like Bronzong could sweep right here if I was like sub, Calm Mind, Flash Cannon, Psychic. I could potentially sweep, Like Magnezone wouldn't be doing much back, and Bronzong would actually just sweep right here. If I were a little bit faster in a sub calm mindset, I would have swept here. So that's just a lack of mock battles, a lack of scenario prep and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I'm just gonna hard switch out to Donphan here as he goes for the foul play. I expected him to hard switch into Mew, so I'm actually gonna switch back out here into Vivillon on the Giga Drain. Fine play for me because Giga Drain did nothing, 4 times resisted, and I'm going to Quiver Dance up here. My opponent probably thinks I can't hurt him here. He probably thinks my best move to hit him with would be Hidden Power Ground maybe, or just like Bug Buzz. However, I do got that Hidden Power Steel Tech, and going to bop that Mega Diancie, and now he brings in the Magnezone. So what he found out here was that I don't have Hidden Power Ground. Hidden Power Ground would more than likely have not knocked out Mega Diancie. However, if I was Hidden Power Ground and it did knock out the Mega Diancie, I do think I just won here as well because I am speed creeping a Scarf Magnezone, so he wouldn't be able to outspeed me here, and the Hidden Power Ground would likely knock him out. I'm not exactly sure if he shook a berry. I don't know if he ever revealed that or anything, but however, I'm just going to hard switch out to Donphan here. since I am hidden power still. Now, if I had been hidden power ground, I think that would have been a wrap there as well. Unfortunate. But here, I just go into Dawn Fan. I am Assault Vest. He can't do much to me. And I'm just going to click the knockoff here. Get rid of an item. And it's going to be the Black Sludge on Amoonguss. Here, I'm just going to click Earthquake, predicting my opponent to over-predict as he does. And now I can just hard switch into Vivillon on the Giga Drain. But he actually hard switches into Kamala. So not bad there. Here, I'm going to switch out to Clefable on his Rapid Spin. He gets rid of rocks, but it's not the end of the world, as I can just hard switch into Bronzong here, as he actually goes for U-turn, revealing that he has ways to get initiative. So here I hard switch out into Serp. Last time we played, this was a rock polish set, and I figured that he would more than likely just be another, mindless setup variant here, and he is. He clicks the Nasty Plot here, and I'm just going to bring in Serp, click the Leaf Storm immediately, and hope that he doesn't go for the... Like, I live any one hit here outside of Genesis Supernova, and he goes for it. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Also, I wouldn't have lived an Ice Beam there either, or a Flamethrower. But I would have lived Psychic or Aura Sphere or Shadow Ball or anything like whatever he would have had, for coverage in this specific matchup. But I would have also lived a Psychic there. So, anyways, here he gets off his Genesis Supernova, and if you've played this game before, not only... Okay, it has to be Psychic, so he's not Psyshock, that's a fact. But what it does is it boosts Psychic's power, first of all, but then it sets the Psychic terrain so that all the Psychic type moves afterwards are also boosted. And it prevents priority, so that if Mew is actually faster than my Mons, I can't use priority like Quick Attack, Extreme Speed, Mach Punch, whatever it may be, or Sucker Punch, Bullet Punch, whatever it may be, to revenge kill the Mew. So, I could have went into Dawn Fan here, but I just get 2-hit KO'd and not doing much back. Same for Vivillon, I just get knocked out. Clefable, I probably get 2-hit KO'd. Bronzong, I'm not doing much back, and I'm asleep. So my play here is going to Snorlax. I live any one hit here, and can just go for the Banded Return and knock him out. I live the Psychic, and I go for the Banded Return, knock him out. And now we're still in an okay position here. He brings in the Kamala here, and I want to go into Clefable, as I do. And what I need is to throw off a Wish to Snorlax. So that's the game plan here. He goes into Magnezone, and I throw off this Wish, and then hard switch into Dawn Fan, knowing I can live any one hit and get my health back. My opponent's forced to switch out here, but I can't really do anything about it. I'm just going to click... actually, I double out. So, predicting his Masquerain to come in on my Earthquake, I double out to Vivillon to get, a powerful Hurricane off. So, I'm just going to go for the Hurricane. My opponent switches out to the Kamala. I missed the Hurricane, which I don't think it mattered. Me and my opponent were actually recreating at this point. So... He just decides to go, and I get the hidden power off, or I get the Hurricane off, I get the hidden power off, and what I'm trying to do here is not knock him out, because what happened in the original battle was he knocked me out, but he was at like 9% here instead of 18% in the original battle. So far, up to this point, everything's been created the same, except for he has 18% instead of 9%. I forgot to mention in the battle that there were some hacks in the late game that could have potentially affected the game. And me and my opponent restarted and recreated the battle. And here we got a little bit of unfortunate hacks, which caused a minor difference in the battle, but nothing that was game-changing or anything like that, in my opinion. So here he's going to switch out to his Amoonguss as I go for Earthquake. And the plan here is to just click Earthquake, and if I can get Amoonguss out of the way, I just win anyway. So that was the idea there. But he's going to save his Amoonguss, and he's not going to let that happen. And he brings in the Masquerain, gets the Intimidate off, lowers my attack, and then switches back out to Amoonguss on my Clefable. So a really, really nice double there. And he goes for the Sludge Bomb here. And this was part of the game that I was mentioning. He got a poison on that Sludge Bomb, which would have deterred me from, and would have probably prevented me from winning any kind of stall war with Wish Protect here. So we recreated, and here he does not get the poison, and I'm going to be able to get my Wish Protect back, yada, yada, yada. And he's got to avoid losing all of his PP here. So what I'm doing here is making him lose his PP. I go into Bronze Zone. He hard switches into Kamala as I hard switch back out into Clefable. And now he U-turns out and gets the momentum back on Masquerain. But here I'm just going to click the Moonblast, getting a little chip damage off. Getting a nice little chip damage off. And I've already revealed in the original battle, I was poisoned and took poison damage. So he knows I'm unaware, but he forgot. So that's the idea behind his setup, is he forgot. And I'm just going to go for the 3-hit KO here. And my opponent's going to switch out to Amoonguss now. As I'm going to hard switch into Donphan. I'm going to take this foul play. I'm going to get this wish back, and Donphan is now back up to nearly full. I'm going to hard switch back into Bronze Zone on the Giga Drain. And I think my opponent switches, he switches to Kamala as I get rid of one more sleep turn. And I'm going to hard switch back into Clefable as my opponent goes for return. And without leftovers, I'm 2-hit KO'd. I forgot I was knocked off, and I'm actually 2-hit KO'd by return. So I had to switch into Donphan here and go for the Ice Shard. Hoping to knock him out or to knock out the Masquerain on the switch-in. So that was the idea there. And here I take a foul play on Bronze Zone, which weakens me to the point of not being able to take any more hits in the game. And I'm actually at a disadvantage here. But the game is still very winnable here. It's actually still in my favor. However, he does knock out my Clefable. And now bring in Fat Boy Snorlax. What Fat Boy Snorlax can do here is it's going to catch a wish, first of all. Well, second of all, it's going to catch a wish. First of all, I can throw off a very, very powerful return here. More than likely knock out this Amoonguss based on what damage we saw earlier with the Earthquake damage. So I'm just going to go for that. He switches out and gets his Regenerator back, though. However, Kamala drops. And now I'm back at 66%. So I'm back at a reasonable amount of health. And I can sack off my Bronze Zone here. And then bring in my Donphan. However, Donphan gives him an easy switch into Amoonguss. So what I'm going to do is go into Snorlax and force a 50-50. So here, my opponent can stay in. But if he stays in and he only gets 25% off or so, I'll still be at 30%. And if I'm at 30%, okay, so I can click Earthquake here and knock out the Magnezone, or I can click Return, predicting the Amoonguss to come in, right? If I get the Earthquake and knock the Magnezone out, I can sack off Donphan to Amoonguss and probably live one hit and actually get a little piece of Earthquake damage off on the Amoonguss. And if I get that Earthquake damage on Amoonguss, then he's more than likely, he's definitely 2-hit KO'd by Banded Return anyway, even if he's max defense. Max HP, max defense with a defense boost in nature, he's 2-hit KO'd by Banded Return. That's just how it is. That's how strong Snorlax is. So if I click Earthquake here, knock out the Magnezone, I can sack off Donphan and then get the last kill with Snorlax. But my opponent should know that. He should know no matter what Amoonguss set he is, he dies to Banded. He's 2-hit KO'd by Banded Return, and he's doing a maximum of 33% with Foul Play. Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, whatever he had, is laughable damage on Snorlax as well. So I really do expect my opponent to switch out into Amoonguss here on the Earthquake, where Earthquake would only be doing a maximum of 40% if he's max defense, max HP with a defense boost in nature. And then if I click Return, then he could just hard switch back into Magnezone and start firing off attacks and firing off flash cannons and weaken my team. Like Donphan would switch in and be 2-hit KO'd, and then he could just stay in and spam flash cannon until I knock him out with Snorlax. And I could potentially be having to lock myself into Earthquake to knock him out in one hit, and then would have to pray for a crit on the Amoonguss. So this is a big play right here, and I'm going to predict my opponent to switch out and save Magnezone so that he could scout what kind of move I was going to go for here. Because if I just click Earthquake, he's going to die and I win. So definitely expecting my opponent to scout here. He does not scout, and he allows me to, I would have knocked him out there with Earthquake, he allows me to knock him out with Earthquake, but I make the prediction and click return. However, maybe it was an over prediction on my part, because if I just click Earthquake here, no matter what he does, I could just sack off Donphan. If he stays in, I get the kill with Magnezone. I mean, I knock out the Magnezone with Snorlax, and then he would bring in the Amoonguss. I would switch out to Donphan, sack that thing off, and then 2-hit KO him with Snorlax. However, if he stays in here and I click Earthquake, then I just sack off Donphan to Amoonguss the following turn, and then bring Snorlax in and knock out the Amoonguss anyway. So perhaps it was an over prediction on my part, but he does stay in. Return does not 2-hit KO here. He doesn't 2-hit KO me, but I don't 2-hit KO him either. So a bit unfortunate there. Had I been able to rest, if I was a Sleep Talk variant or had a way to repent for my rest, I would be able to rest there. But yeah, he's going to make, I think it was, in my opinion, I think it was a bad play, because I think that he could have won. He could pivot around. He knows I was banded from the damage I did to Mew earlier, so, and from the damage I did to Magnezone. So I was already confirmed to be banded, and I think he could have played around it without choking. So yeah, my opponent chokes there, and it's going to make me look like I choked, or perhaps I did choke with an over prediction. But regardless, it was a fun game, nice 54 turns, and we made it to where it was a clean game. We recreated to make it a clean game. There was a 9% difference on Kamala that didn't even matter. It ended up being sacked off at 18%, which means it would have been sacked off to at 9% anyway, and it was being sacked off to Banded Frustration from Snorlax, or Banded Return, I should say, which was going to kill Kamala. Quite a different, even if it was doubled from 18%, it would have still knocked out. So yeah, anyways, good game to Jacob. Don't mean to criticize our plays or anything like that. So yeah, definitely a good game to Jacob. I'm not taking anything away from him. He played his game. I do think that I made 2 misplays. One on the in-game there on the Earthquake play. I should have Earthquaked. And then earlier on the Vivillon, I shouldn't have risked Vivillon in front of Kamala. I didn't think that, first of all, I didn't think Return would knock me out to begin with from Kamala on my Vivillon. Secondly, I didn't calc it, and thirdly, I would have probably made that play even if I did calc it, because in my mind, for some reason, I was just banking on living that hit because of I had insane HP investment on Vivillon. I had a 112 HP investment with 4 EVs and 8 defense, so I had quite a bit of bulk investment. Just didn't think I would be knocked out. So our season, we fall short here in the semifinals. I'm not going to be able to avenge our minors run where we went undefeated and were hexed in the playoffs, or hexed in the finals actually. So unfortunate there. Definitely wanted to avenge that loss, but it is what it is. Good game to Jacob, like I mentioned. Let me know what you thought about the prep on both sides of the battle, and the battle, or the plays on both sides of the battle, I should say. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for